So this is my 2011-2012 Project Life / regular scrapbook album, and it's for my daughter's first 18 months of life. So in a sense, this is kind of her baby book. This is just a cover page I made with pattern paper and her letter, her first initial. And on the back of that I adhered 3 photos in a row. I did that again here. And on the back of each of these are photos of her with me, and these are photos of her with my husband, and on the back of these we're each going to write some journaling to her once I finish the album. And this is kind of just an intro section there. And so what I wanted to do today is I want to show you where I'm at with this album. I'm not finished. I did the vast majority of this in retrospect. I didn't quite figure out my plan for how I wanted to put this together until late last year. And so there's a lot of layouts, there's a lot of photos, there's a lot of journaling cards, there's not a lot of actual journaling yet. I have a lot of documentation on social media, in my own journals, that will be going into this album, but I wanted to kind of give you an update to where I'm at with this whole album. And before I start flipping the pages, I'll see if I can show you a little bit about how thick this is. It's getting really, really thick. And so I may end up putting this into 2 albums. And I had wanted to include the outfit that I had brought her home in here. And at this point it's just too thick, so I've taken that out for now. But if I do transition to 2 albums, this will be going in there in the pocket page. Okay, so this is just a 12x12 photo that I cut into 6 pieces. I didn't send it to a 4x6 printer, I just had it printed as 12x12. And then I cut up a piece of 12x12 pattern paper in the back. One that kind of had been hoarding a little bit because it was so neat. This is an 8.5x11 digital layout. And then her kind of unofficial birth certificate on the back. So this is kind of the intro section. And then we get into my Library of Memories categories. And so if you've seen some of my other posts on this, what I've done is I've taken Stacy Julian's primary categories and I've adapted them for an album about one person. So my categories are people we love, which is people that my daughter loves, which includes my husband and I, things we do or things she does, places she goes, and then you. And I'm using the category you instead of all about us. So here's the first page from her first month at home. This is probably the most done page I have, other than all of the layouts in here, as you'll see. So this is a semi-chronological album in that within each section I've gone generally chronologically, but because I have these 4 sections, you get to see these stories together, and that's one of the reasons I've done this, because this section is just about her, so these are shots of her face and how she grew up over these first 6 months here. And seeing them together is much more of a storyline, and you can see that growth versus just having these pictures interspersed throughout the album. And then what I'm primarily using for my journaling cards in this album are Paisley Press printables, with a few other ones interspersed here and there, plus some traditional Project Life 3x4 grid cards. So we'll just keep going here. More photos from the You section. This was one of my first journaling cards that I did, and I printed off. And I very quickly realized I'd rather have my handwriting than to take the time to do a lot of printed journaling. You can see here that, these pages, I don't spend a lot of time on color coordination, but I do just kind of look at the cards that I have and see, okay, what feels good to me. And so these cards were all from the same pack, and she was wearing a lot of blues and yellows, and there was a lot of stripes in these pictures, so these went well. And then over here there was a lot of aquas from her room and her outfit here, and so these cards went well. But I don't really try to think about it too much and just go with my gut on that. And here's space for 4 more photos from December. So I'm totally caught up with my photos for 2012 and for the first part of the end of 2011 after she was born. She was born in August, up until December of 2012. And so all of my December photos, they're all edited because of December Daily. but I didn't get a chance to print those yet to include in this album. And now we get into some layouts. This is two 8.5 by 11 layouts here. 12 by 12 layout. Some more of those. This is one of my favorite layouts of her right after her first birthday. Now we get into a little bit of memorabilia here. These were some footprints from her first week at school, and I just adhered a little sticker on the outside of the page protector. Her handprints from the day before. These are some notes from her first kind of progress report at school. And then now we get into the things section. So I focused the you section just on her personality traits, her growth as, you know, as an infant. And then the things section I think probably has some of the most interesting stories in it, because it's all the little things that she does and this is a great example here. This is a full page of Instagrams of her sleeping. And then a partial page of her being awake. And obviously for the first year of her baby's life, she did a lot more sleeping than she did being awake. More layouts here. And then a couple 12 by 12 layouts as well. I'm really loving the 8.5 by 11 size, but I do quite a few 12 by 12 layouts as well. I have probably maybe 15 to 20 more photos that I want to include in here that I've currently reserved for layouts, but I'm just not quite sure yet. I'm getting to the point where I really want this album to be done, and so I'm not sure I'm going to make all those layouts. They may find home in the page protectors. So here's an example of an insert that was for a specific event. This was Easter in 2012, and so I just took all the photos, all my favorites, and just a short little journaling card. Here's a 6 by 12 insert that was printed from her baptism, and some photos from inside the church, her certificate. This is a blessing my mom wrote for her. And here's her whale adoption that's been a tradition in our family. And then her first couple progress reports from her first 2 days of school and how she did in eating and bathroom habits. And then the menu from the first 2 weeks of her going to daycare. Here's a couple more of those progress reports with notes about what she did. She walked on the wagon the first time. She colored with markers. And then some of her artwork. And then one of her paintings. And I love just cutting these up into either dividing them into fours or even cutting pieces up to fit into the pockets, because you don't necessarily need to keep all the artwork. It's just kind of that you saved some of it. Little pig that she did, that was pretty cute. Some handprints. I thought that was really colorful, so I saved the whole thing. Now we get into more seasonal ones. We have a ghost here. Behind that were some pumpkin prints, some turkeys. These are all of her winter ones, and I just inserted several of them in the pocket. You don't need to have a page for each one. And then this was something that her daycare had sent home. They had framed it for us, but I really wanted to put it in the album, so I took it out of the frame. And it's just a page that she made from 2012. It was kind of our Christmas present with her handprint. And then this section, so remember we're still in the things we do section. And so this is where I incorporated a lot of my phone photos, a lot of Instagrams. This was the day after we brought her home. My husband made breakfast and she ate with us on the table. Her social security number came in the mail. This was the first time she smiled. This is one of the first times she went in her swing, sitting upright. So a lot of those little things. Last year, a lot of my phone photos I didn't really do much editing with. I'm doing a little bit more this year, but for the most part, it's just more about getting those photos into the album. Here's one from Christmas of 2011. So as you can see, these are, it's semi-chronological, but it's more about having the types of stories together that are similar and related so you can see those connections. And then the back of this will be Christmas of last year. Got some more of her qualities as she got a little bit more mobile, whether in her walker or getting into my purse. Here's her in my office for a long time. Right next to this table here was her playpen, so she spent a lot of time in my office before she started going to daycare. This is going to be an insert all about her birthday, and I'm going to insert all of the cards that she received. I'm going to cut up pieces and put those in here, and so it was her first birthday. This is the invitation to her party. and more photos from that same day. And I'll have some journaling cards in here as well. So we're still going here. We're still in things you do. And we're a little bit past her birthday and in the fall of last year. This is, you know, she started walking right at her first birthday. And so we went to the park to get pumpkins. She was walking with a wagon, and here's her climbing on the couch. And so she's increasingly mobile as babies are. This is one of my favorite photos of her standing in the window while we were putting up Christmas lights. And then this will be another one for Christmas of 2012. I've got those cards all ready to go. Okay, so here we are in the People We Love section. And as I mentioned, that this is very much, just as much about my husband and I, my mom and dad, as it is about other people in our family, because this is her album. So we have some layouts of her with me, and her with my mom, her with one of her half-brothers, another one of her brothers, and her two brothers together, Emily with Daddy, and then this is going to be a page all about Emily with Mommy and Daddy, and these are a lot of phone photos, because especially in those early days, that's mostly what I took. More Mommy and Daddy pictures. This is going to be a special page just about Daddy, and I love how you can just see the progression of him holding her and just doing things with her and carrying out daily life while she's on him, and goofing off with her as well. Now here's some photos with Emily with my parents. We have a tradition of taking a picture every time they visit. They live in Texas, so quite a far ways away. And I am missing some of those photos I need to get from my mom. But we can see, you know, Emily grow with every picture, so that's kind of cute. We try to take it in front of the tree out front. Some more pictures of Emily just with her grandma and grandpa, and then with her other grandma here. This page I've gotten a little bit further with. And because I didn't have enough pictures to finish this, I just took a piece of pattern paper that I've been saving up and cut it up to put on the back. More pictures of Emily when she came home with the family members, and visits to other people, and some of my friends who came to visit. So now we're in the places section here. We've got some more layouts. One of her favorite places was the swing, going to the park. And she went off and met some other babies that were born within a week of her, and these are our good friends. Photo of her from daycare. And then the layout, these are pictures all from fall of 2011 of places we went, and so I just put them all in one spread. And this is another place where I've gone ahead and done some journaling. And this is kind of my test page to see, you know, can I do project life in a way that's semi-chronological, that brings stories together, that's a little bit more topical than just a week-by-week approach. And I was really happy with how this came out and how I felt about it. So that's why I continued with this album. So we're in places here. Going to the park, going to the doctor, going to daycare. And then going to the pumpkin patch, and that's kind of how it ended. And this was very end. At Christmas time we went to Texas to visit my parents. And that's kind of the end of the album. And I may have another layout here at the end just to kind of wrap up, you know, where she was at the end of 2012. But that is my Project Life plus Library of Memories album for August 2011 through December 2012 for my daughter Emily. Thanks for watching.